Welcome back to another episode of the Schmoofcast. You are here with Bret
and Kristen,
and together we are the Schmoofs. We are your local Orlando theme park nerds, huge Disney fans.
With like 20 years experience between the two of us in the industry.
Yeah.
What?
We've been here forever, we've done it all, and we're here to share our love and nerdy knowledge with you. Again!
Yay!
So if you remember our last episode, or if it's the first time here, our last episode we discussed all of the, queues of attractions that we love and hate, and what makes a good queue, and what makes a pre-show, and all the above.
And how does it impact the attraction?
Yeah, well, the attraction's the boring part. Like, get me into the attraction first. That's the fun part. I don't want to ride a ride. I don't want to ride a roller coaster. I want to be in a story.
Wow.
I'm probably the minority on that.
Wow.
So today's episode is going to be a little different. We're going to be discussing the exact opposite of the queue and discussing the exits.
Exits!
Which, I mean, you're going to be like, Bret, Kristen, what are you guys talking about? You're just leaving the ride. Who cares what's happening? I do. I really do.
You feel very strongly about this bit.
This might be actually a really quick episode because I might say my 2 cents and then we might just end it really quick. So we'll see. But I feel like this is the second in a 3-part series we're doing on attraction queues, exits, and overall experiences. So buckle up, or I guess, unbuckle your safety belt. We're coming back to the loading station. Prepare to exit to your left. Yeah, I threw that in there. Boom.
I feel like this is a Jungle Cruise moment.
A little bit. So, attraction exits. We discussed some of our favorite attraction queues and entrances and pre-shows and such, but where does an attraction exit really make the mark? And what better place to start than back in Galaxy's Edge again?
I don't know if I can,
Yeah, Kristen just rolled her eyes so hard.
Hear the eye roll that I just had.
And I know I posted it on Twitter the other day, and, shout out to Theme Park Bar and a few others that responded back. I mean, Kristen brought up this point as well, that the best attraction that we think encapsulates the exit experience is Millennium Falcon's Smuggler's Run.
Yes.
And the
superior attraction in Galaxy's Edge.
If you listen to our past episodes, you get that, right? We've said that before, right? Yeah, that was an episode. That was a literal episode. I'm fully here. I promise. So Smuggler's Run. Smuggler's Run, if you crash the Millennium Falcon, when you exit, there's going to be
lights flickering and panels falling off the wall, and
the announcer's like, we're going to get this hunk of scrap metal repaired before the Wookiee sees it. And if you don't crash it, everything's hunky-dory and fine.
It's all pretty.
It's nice. The ride knows. It's cool, and it works so well and flawlessly that it continues the experience even after you're leaving the attraction.
Which is rare. Part of the reason that we talked about this in particular, when we talk about exits, is you got hung up on, what was it, the time travel trope.
I tweeted it was the time travel trope, I called it. So the idea is, and this is specifically because the new Jurassic World ride was just refurbished and reopened over at Universal Studios Hollywood. And it brings up a good point with our Jurassic Park River Adventure here as well. Is that you go through the ride, and if you haven't been on the ride before, spoiler alert, the dinosaurs get out, like in Jurassic Park.
What? No.
Shocking. But you go through the ride, and then as you do the final drop down in front of the Tyrannosaurus Rex, you splash down, and then everything's back to normal. Everything's fine. Everything's hunky-dory. We're going to say it a lot. But it's back to normal. Everything's fine. So in that end result of whatever happens on the attraction, it kind of like time travels back to before the attraction happened. Or did it even happen? Who knows?
We were all just having a weird dream together.
Yeah.
Every 6 to 8 minutes.
So that brings up the point of what attractions wrap things up in the exit or before the exit, or the exit is part of the overall experience. One of my favorite comments somebody responded back on Twitter with was actually discussing the Cat in the Hat at Islands of Adventure. That it's kind of a cop-out to a point, but if you've rode Cat in the Hat, or if you've read the book, you know that at the end, everything all the chaos that the Cat in the Hat does with Thing 1 and Thing 2 is all reset, and he always cleans up his messes. I think that's actually what he says. Mm-hmm. He always cleans his messes so that when the kids' parents return, everything is back to normal the way it was before any of this started.
Because that's the point.
So it completes that time travel trope in itself.
I have another one for you.
Shoot.
Men in Black.
Yeah, Men in Black. I mean, literally the end of the ride is that time travel trope. And then they throw it out the window because there's aliens in the gift shop. But do you go through the entire Men in Black? We just discussed the queue where they take you into the World's Fair building, and then it's like, oh, it's a front for the training facility. Come on down. They train you as a Men in Black agent, and then whether you did good or bad, it doesn't matter. You get neuralized at the end of it. Mm-hmm. And then the actual unload area is the same design and same set pieces of the fake front World's Fair room that you went into. The Are We Alone in the Galaxy? Of course we are. Mm-hmm. And you exit there and the World's Fair music is playing, and it's like, what just happened?
I don't know if you can count the gift shop as destroying that, though.
No, it fits into the story because it's still funny because the slugs, the worms, what are they called?
I don't know.
They're like worm slugs thing. The weird alien things that enjoy coffee a little too much.
Too much Java.
As you enter, you go up the stairs. You can see their silhouettes through a break room wall, and it's like, oh, that might have been real. Then you head towards the gift shop, and they're holding a sign that says, "See proof of your alien encounter." Because they're selling photos. Because of course they're selling photos of your alien encounter. Because that fits the story of who they are.
Welcome to Universal.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to any theme park. Can I sell you a photo of your ride experience to take home and think about again when you can't ride?
But that is a god tier unload exit area.
Well, I think that's the funny thing is so many of these places or so many of these attractions have those moments. You discussed a little bit last time about one of your favorite exit queue moments. Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yeah, with Mine Train. You exit the ride, and I mentioned it with last episode too, is that the set pieces that you saw before are now seen in a much different light. Physically, nothing really happens, but you move yourself through time in the Snow White story. So by the time you leave the ride, things are going to go down.
It's such a great way of, like you said, you move yourself through the timeline. So it's nothing about the overall exit changes, but your perception of it has changed because you've seen, like, the bits leading up to that as opposed to before when you didn't know that. So I think that would be another very high tier exit experience.
Yeah.
Because you continue that story as you're leaving because you do see it in a different light. You do see it in a different perspective. So that's quite interesting. I think my biggest challenge is so many attractions, especially ones that put such incredible interest into their queues. Some of them have really crappy exits.
Not just crappy exits, horrendous, just horrible. Just like it was a total afterthought of just like, oh, right, people need to leave the ride too.
Ramps.
Mummy.
We talked about it in the queue episode, and we knew it was coming for the exit episode. So for an attraction that does such an amazing job of melding queue and attraction and all of that, the exit just... It's almost as if, like, you were walking through this really elaborate gallery of things, and you trip, and you fall flat on your face.
Yeah.
That's the way that the exit for the Mummy feels.
You just go down. It's a ramp. You walk across the room, then you come back, then you walk across the room, then you come back, then you walk across the room, then you come back, then you exit.
It's not that many times, but...
Is it 3 times or 4 times? It doesn't matter. It's still super long. It makes no sense. There's no exit. I get you're on a set, a movie set, and da 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 da. But no movie set has a ramp this big.
It's just one of those things where you're like, oh, no one thought about that. But that's the question of should people be thinking about the exit experience?
Yes. And Universal, you're on my list, Universal. I don't know if you're listening, but you're on my list. Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts. They spend the entire queue experience setting up that you are taking this elevator down to the mine shafts. Down all the way to the banks, all the way down, going down so deep. You know?
Miles.
So, yeah, miles. You just don't even know how deep you're going. Just going down, down, down there. And then you unload your vehicle at the same spot that you load your vehicle on. And then you just walk out of the building. That's it. It's over. You're still down there miles, but you walk right out of the building. They don't care about taking you back up to the surface. They're just like, screw it. You don't care anyway. How dumb do they think I am?
I mean, you go down an elevator to go upstairs.
Yeah, that's also another big thing. I mean, we'll back to the queue discussion here for a second. You go down mile, and then the first thing you do when you get off there, you walk up a flight of stairs.
They couldn't stop it, just a little higher. It's fine, guys.
Yeah,
that's always something that I find really entertaining.
I have a lot of issues I have with Gringotts. Not even the ride itself. If I discuss the ride itself, I'm going to get into it way too hard. I just think that they drop the ball on a lot, but people look past it because, it's Harry Potter. No, you should hold it to a better light because it's Harry Potter, because it's this big, shiny, brand new, crazy toy. You shouldn't just be like, it's Harry Potter, we can forgive it. No, you should be holding it to a much higher standard.
But the question, that's the problem though, is that there's so few attractions that actually care a great deal about their exit experience. And some of it's by necessity. For example, Space Mountain. Another one. Just continuing on with all of the ones we've already discussed.
Yeah.
So their exit experience is very interesting because you're walking past like those little panoramas, if you will, of these different planets and destinations in space.
Because it's a starport, because you're headed to destinations in the stars. So you get to see like a travel agency where you could go.
Right. Which is great, but the only reason that it's there is because you walked a mile to get to the actual ride, and you need to walk the mile back to get to the park.
And now there's no more speed ramp. Man, this is the one weird thing. Like, we're going to look back and years from now, we're going to be like, back in my day, they had a speed ramp. And it's going to be like, we got to get you to bed, Grandma. I don't know what
Why is it
about.
me that is going to be the one saying that? It's always going to be you.
Yeah, me at like 85. Back in my day, we had speed ramps.
No, personally, I appreciate that they removed the ramps because it was a necessity for accessibility needs.
Yeah, accessibility and maintenance and just...
But
people would stop on them and be... whatever.
Regardless, that is a big opportunity where they could have just let things drop. Where it could have just been an empty hallway. But instead, they give you kind of those snippets and those fun little pieces. They used to have the little screens that had cameras on them so you could
show
wave
you
to
in
yourself.
outer space, yeah.
And all of those things. But that's since changed as well. That went away with the ramps. But that's another option, right? So that kind of continues to encompass the exit experience. It continues to encompass the attraction experience. But I 100% think that one is because of necessity, not because of storytelling. Yeah,
but I mean, that's just Disney in the 70s. And when it was built in 1975, it was sponsored by RCA. Leads the way. And the exit queue was actually designed, or the exit queue. the exit ramp was all designed to showcase RCA products. There was actually a point in the queue where you got past the few destinations you can see on the right-hand side. You go down and you'd look up and there'd be more of those Starfield windows we talked about, but you'd see RCA products floating in the air. So you'd see like a ham radio and a toaster and a microwave floating in space. And you looked up. I'm not even joking. This is a real thing. Those windows are still there to this day. They don't have the microwave and stuff in them, but that was a real thing. So it was more of a corporate sponsorship. But they've kept a lot of the scenes, just to make it nice and fancy. It looks good. I like it.
I think another one that it's such a small thing, but I think it makes for a great exit experience and really ties everything together is Runaway Railway.
Oh my god, it is the best. This is probably like up there with Men in Black in my opinion for tying things together before they put you back out on the street.
I think it's great. I think that there's such a funny bit to it. So if you haven't experienced Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway at Hollywood Studios, part of the way that you get to the attraction is you essentially are in line for a screening of the new Mickey and Minnie short. But at some point through that short, shenanigans ensue, and Goofy actually blows a hole through the screen, which you kind of use as your portal into the cartoon so you can experience it firsthand. And then you go on the ride, you have a great time. As you exit through a blown out screen. So it's literally the same as you walked in. So you walk into the cartoon world that way and you exit the exact same way. And it's brilliant because now, since you're at the end of the cartoon, the screen literally has like the end.
It says the end
as
on
it has in like the old Mickey Mouse shorts.
And it's cool. Like even this room looks like the room for the pre-show to the point where there's a projector box that you can see with the light shining out of it. They even went so far with the COVID regulations that they put the social distancing dots in the exit room. Nobody's going to use them in there because you're just exiting, but they're there to give you the impression that it was the same room that you were just in.
Mm-hmm. It is a very interesting experience. And it's such a great way to tie it together. It's so easy, too. It's not as if, like, you have to go through a long exit process for that attraction. It's literally you hop off and you exit. And it's not far to go. But you just have that one bit that's ties it all together, makes it super simple and easy. It just makes sense.
And it works, too, because
I love it.
It's a cartoon. So the cartoon can be repeated endlessly. So even when people before you in queue and people after you in queue and even people as you're leaving the ride that you see waiting for the attraction can still be seeing this same cartoon. So it's a continual experience and it works. The theme is there. It is methodically thought through and it is something that I didn't anticipate going into this ride that I'd love it so much.
But it also really makes a difference. And we talk about part of the thing with the exit queue, and this is true of, I'm just going to call it an exit queue because whatever. It does shape your experience. Just as the queue when you're entering an attraction can shape how you experience that attraction, as you're exiting, it also will help either stick that in your mind or make it drop off. So we've mentioned quite a few that have this encompassing circle at the end, which are great exit cues. I'm going to be honest, we had to brainstorm those because it is not a norm. And that's true of pretty much anywhere.
Like even Rise of the Resistance, there's no exit. It just throws you back into Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, you just drop. You're just, out you go. And that's very, very typical of attractions. But it makes you realize these ones that have that little extra step in the exit, that little extra tie together or tie in or even something that makes sense as to why you're leaving in that way.
But even before a gift shop.
Yeah.
Okay, let me, because I haven't done this in forever. You might have better memory than I do. Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem.
Yes.
The end of the attraction, the actual show, they're having a dance party.
Mm-hmm. They're having a celebration.
A celebration, okay. You unbuckle, you leave.
Into a Minion dance party.
So it continues, and it's so simple.
It's so easy. And that's also a great way to do character meet and greets.
Yeah. Rock and Roller Coaster. You exit, the entire Rock and Roller Coaster ride is it's a big setup that you're headed to the Aerosmith concert in a super high-speed limo, but you get there and the concert's over. But you still step out onto the red carpet. You're at a concert venue. Above you it's like an awning, like outside a concert venue, outside the Forum. And you step out onto the red carpet and you exit the attraction, but you see projection screens of Aerosmith wrapping up their concert.
As you walk this way?
As you walk this way to the red, out of the ride, yeah.
Things that make me very excited.
I'm trying to think what else like wraps up like that.
It's rare. It is very rare to find it, which is is quite surprising considering the storytelling that goes into so many of these attractions. That it's, some of it's just, all right, you're done. Peace out. Bye. And I think that it does make a big difference.
It makes a difference to a point where it's noticeable when it happens. When it doesn't happen, it's like, yeah, whatever. But when it happens, you really take note of like, oh, there was an added bonus for me. It was an extra scene. It was an after the credits scene. That's how I feel this is. This is like the after the credits scene.
See, and I feel like this is one of those discussions that everyone's going to be like, Bret, Kristen, you guys are weird. Because it doesn't make that big of a difference to everyone else. But because of the fact we've experienced so many different attractions and in a variety of ways and in a variety of capacities, I guess we could say, this is something for me that I wish we could see more. I wish that more attractions moving forward, obviously we can't go back and change things for some of them, but I wish moving forward that there was that little tie together to explain, like, even that time travel trope that you were talking about, because that is the premise of most attractions, especially anything that has like a catastrophic something or other happened. The goal is that catastrophic thing can happen every 6 to 8 minutes, and no one going in or out is gonna have to worry about it. So they can continue to have it rolling over and over and over again. And that's literally the point of attractions.
This is my fear with Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So they built this gigantic gravity building for the roller coaster outside the Epcot berm, and the entire old energy building is going to looks like it's going to be like the load area and the queue for the ride. There's going to be an exit that's just going to plop you right back out into Epcot.
Probably.
That's it, yeah. It's going to be the mission space problem where you exit the ride and it's like, oh, right, we got to get you out of here. So just walk the perimeter of the building out.
But then at least the nice thing with the mission space exit is it dumps you into the training facility. Like, you have the kids play area and then you have the training simulator thing. At least there's something there to continue the story. If you are in the far side of that pod, you are screwed.
You're walking along.
Because you're walking the whole circumference.
That's how I feel about Frozen Ever After's exit as well, though. Is that you exit and you're in a little small hallway that runs alongside the queue. That's just its own separate little hallway, and you'll eventually lead to the gift shop.
Yep.
I just like it's so weird to me.
Oh yeah, we got to get people out of the building.
It's such a deviation from what was there before. Maelstrom was there before, of course.
I mean, that is not the biggest deviation.
The biggest Maelstrom. You exited into a show scene.
You exited from the boat. Had to wait another 5 to 10 minutes to watch a movie.
The Spirit of Norway. It was wonderful. It was a full experience.
But the getting off the boat and having to sit in that little round thing. Okay, towards the end, they opened the doors so you could walk through. I remember being on that attraction for years.
And you had to wait.
And it was the worst because boats kept coming and people kept getting off and there were no seats and everyone was just kind of standing there like, oh, what do we do now?
Yeah.
That was horrid.
But it was still cool because you're still in the story even when you unload. You're still in Norway. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. It was great. I also enjoyed the Spirit of Norway show. I watched it a lot.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
But there's just so many things of exits. I don't know if I have much more to say on it, though.
Dinosaurs exit. We're talking about catastrophic events and the time travel trope. Dinosaurs exit. There's a dinosaur in real life with you at this point. But according to the laws of time travel, what already happened in time travel has already happened. So if Seeker's telling you he tagged an iguanodon and it's going to go back in time, the iguanodon is technically already... It can be anywhere in that time if he's able to time travel. So the iguanodon is both with him and without him. Like that Beatles song.
I really hate the Schrodinger's cat bit of that.
Of dinosaur? Yeah, no, it is. It very much is. But you exit dinosaur, you go upstairs, and there's you hear over the radio, over the intercom, find Dr. Seeker. We have an iguanodon loose. All units. Da, 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 da.
Is that a dinosaur?
So that still continues it on just a little bit there. Everest throws you into a gift shop. Boring. Flight of Passage just dumps you out again. It's like they said they spent this entire cube doing this great thing, and they just dump you out back into Pandora.
Again, like I said,
Yeah, it's so rare to get a good ride.
It is a very rare exit theming and exit cohesion is very rare.
Is there anything at California in Disneyland that does this well? I wasn't even thinking about this, but I was just thinking about like Orlando stuff. But I'm looking at this like I don't even want to call it an exit experience, but let's say Mission Breakout. That they realized that Mission Breakout, Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, the ride itself, you help in the Guardians of the Galaxy escape, and you blow the power, which opens up all the cages, including all the crazy monsters in the Collector's Fortress, are unleashed. So when you leave the attraction, it's like, oh,
whoops,
everything is unleashed. So they used the idea of, instead of the time travel trope that, what's continuing in real time. And then for Halloween, they do what they call Monsters After Dark. So it turns out you left Baby Groot in the facility. Oh no.
Gotta go back.
You gotta go back. So Rocket is instructing you, like, you guys can't be here, but I can use you. He goes, I need you to scream and wave your arms and stuff so that it will distract the monsters away from Baby Groot so I can get him and get out of here.
Don't worry. We got you covered too. We won't let them get you.
Yeah.
If you've not experienced Monsters After Dark and you get the opportunity, do it.
Monsters After Dark is so good.
It's great.
It is so un-Disney. It is intense. The queue experience it's wild.
I still think one of the greatest attraction moments is being able to do Mission Breakout during the day.
And then go back to that.
And have it be normal and experience it as it normally is. And then going back at night and seeing all of the changes, like the queue changes and the attraction changes, and
the cast members wear vests that are like bloodied and like torn apart, like safety vests. All the lights are all flashing red, like there's an emergency. The animals in the queue, because the cages are open, the animals are out. So all the animals that were in boxes in the queue have tarps over them. This exhibit is off limits. It's not working right now. Mm-hmm. There's spotlights going off. Like, it is intense.
It's fun though. It's a great use of a lot of things that Disney works on. But I think the funny thing is that we talk about that, but at the same time, one of my favorite things about specifically Mission Breakout is in the exit, and it's the Employee of the Month photos.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just, they get progressively like more concerned as you go through the months.
And then
it just is really funny.
Every couple months, the smile returns, and you realize, oh, it's a different girl.
Yeah, and then
it's a different assistant for the collector.
It just keeps going, and it's really funny.
I forget what planet they're from.
I have no idea.
The pink women and from Guardians.
No idea.
I was gonna say Xandarian, but they're not Xandarian.
Dude, I don't know.
We gotta get up on our research before Cosmic Rewind opens.
Guardians of the Galaxy is not my jam.
We'll figure it out together. It'll be good.
You can figure it out.
Okay, so in terms of exit experience, though, all of the living seas would be considered an exit experience for the Seas with Nemo and Friends.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's cool. I like that idea. I like that way of framing the idea of like, yeah, there's dolphins in the exit, there's manatees in the exit. How cool is this?
Well, it's an attraction into an attraction.
Yeah.
So is Nemo the queue?
Is the ride a queue? Can a ride be a queue? We have another episode, guys. Hold on.
Never mind. I regret my decisions.
That's a really fun way to think about it. Can the ride be a queue?
I mean,
that's so much.
Wild Arctic is all I have to say to you on that end.
Wild Arctic, yeah. No, that's another trope. The ride being the queue.
Great.
Antarctica, Empire of the Penguin. And
guys, I'm sorry. I just broke Bret. I guess we're gonna have a discussion on this at another time. This is not the time.
No, it's not.
I really did break you, didn't I?
Yeah. I'm just like, oh my god. Wow, but yeah, no, there's some exits we really enjoy. There's some exits we absolutely hate. Because it just drops you right out of the story. Fast and the Furious Supercharged. Not that there's much of a story there, but you walk out and the wall has just a vinyl decal of the Fast and the Furious characters on it.
Yeah.
It's just like, what's going on, guys? Really? You did all this?
That's the thing. A lot of them, they're just kind of like, all right, we're done.
That's it. You're done. You're out of here. Get out of here.
Which is so weird. It's so weird to think of how much effort gets put into what happens in the queue leading up to an attraction, and how the exit experience is just not considered.
It's just dropped. But it's like, so Dinosaur, original Test Track, Flight of Passage stuff, you have all these pre-show videos. There is never a post-show video.
I feel like we've said this, and I feel like we're wrong. I just cannot think of what attraction.
There has to be something out there that there's like, as you exit, there's another video or projection or something playing that kind of wraps it up post. I mean, Rock and Roller Coaster, I guess, is the projection. They like kind of showed up there what's happening after you get there for the exit. But like, most of the action wraps up on the ride that you don't need the exit to tell you what's going on. Which is why I think that Smuggler's Run is so important, because it's a real living, breathing thing.
I would agree. No, I would 100% agree. I think that is a giant change.
And yeah, that's most recent, that and Runaway Railway. So they're taking cognitive approach as to what these exits can be. Remy's Ratatouille Adventure in Paris. It exits you into Le Chez de Remy. Whatever the restaurant's name is called. It exits you into the Remy restaurant.
I wish we were getting that here because A, I love restaurants. But B, I do think that it's a great exit because it is part of the attraction.
So that's what I'm curious of, how they're going to do the exit here. Well, I guess we'll see on October 1st.
They're just going to spit you back out into the land.
Yeah, and that's what I'm fearful of.
It's probably what's going to happen.
But now that we're back all the way to Smuggler's Run, I think that about wrapped up the exit discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a bump.
So we're going to come back with another episode soon and discuss the overall attraction experience. Which ones are the best of the best? Which ones are the classic?
In our opinion.
Which ones suck?
Again, in our opinion. I feel like we need to preface this.
Well, of course it's our opinion. It's not nobody else's opinion.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't always agree with you. I often don't agree
You often don't. I was going to say, you agree with me? When did you start agreeing with me here? Most of the time it's you saying, no, you're crazy.
Am I wrong?
Yes.
That you're crazy?
No, I'm done. We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. But hey, thanks for listening to this discussion about attraction exits.
Exit queues.
Exit queues. There you go. Boom. Signing off for the night. Actually, no. I'm not even going to say that yet because you haven't followed us on social media. Make sure you're following us on social media at the Schmoofs. SCHMOOFS. There's no apostrophe in there.
No,
there's not.
There's not.
You can follow me on Twitter as well, at Schmoofy. Give us a follow, say hi on Instagram.
Let us know what you think about queues or exit queues. I'm wondering, does anyone else care about this? Are we just weird? Or overly weird for speaking of these things?
This exit topic, I think it's a very interesting thing to discuss, but I don't think people cognitively think about it.
I think it's only interesting to us because we're weird.
Well, we'll find out. I mean, we'll see if anybody responds back. I'm sure we're going to get maybe a few things, but we'll take that when I get to it. But reach out. We will read everything and respond to everything. We appreciate it.
Signing off for the night, this is Kristen.
And Bret.